What's going on, YouTube world and Panther Nation? It is your boy here, P-Way, back with Inside P-Town, your one-stop shop for everything Carolina Panthers. And today we're going to discuss a list that came out naming the Mount Rushmore for the Carolina Panthers. So without further ado, go ahead and like this video. Make sure you comment during the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's get right to it. Bleacher Report came out with the list naming the top 4 Panthers in our existence, our personal Mount Rushmore. And on that list was no other than Steve Smith Sr., Julius Peppers, Cam Newton, and Luke Kuechly. Now, to be honest, this is not much a surprise when it comes to our organization. We haven't had a lot of great players really fall under our organization as far as Pro Bowlers and All Pro honors. Actually, according to the stats, only 12 players since our inception have made All Pro. And you can see the list here. We have Luke Kuechly, Steve Smith Sr., Ryan Khalil, Julius Peppers, Chris Jenkins, Cam Newton, Thomas Davis, Jordan Gross, John Beeson, Musa Muhammad, Christian McCaffrey, and Josh Norman. Now, what's really interesting about this list is 8 out of these 12 players all played for that great 2015 Carolina Panther team. So when it really boils down to picking out the, top 4 and the Mount Rushmore for the Carolina Panthers, it's really not that debatable. It's really very concrete on who exactly is the best Carolina Panthers ever. So I wholeheartedly actually really agree with this list, even though there's some people in our fan base who still want to include names like Sam Mills and Ryan Khalil in our top 4, which once again, I don't think it's really debatable when you look at the body of work of these 4 gentlemen. Starting to the right, Steve Smith Sr.
Between you and Talib on the field early in the game. I don't know. You gonna ask him because he didn't finish the game. Ice up, son. Ice up.
He's actually why I became a Carolina Panther fan. I'm a guy who gravitates to players first. Then from there, I am now loyal to that team based off a player. And being someone born in the '90s, as a kid, I was a person who learned from his eyes, which means I learned from what I saw on TV, and I respect players who had grit, attitude, and just showed up and gave their all. And that's what I witnessed when I watched Steve Smith Sr. play. I saw a guy who was not the average size at receiver, but he played like he was 6'5". I mean, he played absolutely gigantic. And this is something that attracted me to him, which then in turn attracted me to the Carolina Panthers. And I feel like Steve Smith Sr. has been one of the most disrespected and just, ultimately forgot about star receivers probably ever. And it's really kind of disappointing to see that he has not earned that gold jacket yet, especially when you look at his career and you see that he had over 1,031 receptions in his career, and he is number 12th all time in receptions. And as far as receiving yards, it gets better. 4,731 receiving yards, which puts him at number 8 all time. And lastly, he has about 81 touchdowns. So when you look at it, there's only a few players who have more yards than him as far as receiving. We talk about players like Jerry Rice, Larry Fitzgerald, Randy Moss, T.O., Isaac Bruce, Tony Gonzalez, and Tim Brown. And it's very astonishing and eye-popping to see a receiver of his size, 5'9", and the production that he made with the body that God gave him was just absolutely amazing. So there's no debate that he belongs on this list. Now moving to the left, Julius Peppers. Obviously, once I became a fan of the Panthers through Steve Smith Sr., seeing that hard work, it translated right to the defensive side when I noticed just a physical specimen that was out of this world. The former 2-sport athlete who just won wherever he went, and Julius Peppers.
Let me tell you something. You either gonna give me my respect or I'm gonna take it. So listen, how you want it? How you want it? How you want it? Come on. I ain't gonna do nothing to him.
And need I say more? Julius Pep had over 159 and a half sacks in his career, ranking number 4 all time. It really stops there. He was absolutely just a dominant physical presence, at the defensive end. He did it all, playing inside, outside, had interceptions, forced fumbles, you name it. A lot of quarterback strips and things of that nature. He was absolutely a machine. As a Hall of Famer, our only gold jacket wearer on this list, it's not up for debate. He is on the Carolina Panther Mount Rushmore. Now, moving along to number one, Superman, Cam Newton.
Newton drops straight back. There's a crossing route. McCaffrey, touchdown.
And I'm going to say this very clear and make sure that we understand this. When it comes to the history of football and how much players have meant to organizations, there is probably not many more players in the NFL since its existence that meant more to a franchise than Cam Newton meant to the Carolina Panthers. I repeat, in the history of the NFL, there has not been many other players who has meant more to one organization than Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Now, when it comes to us internally, by far, Cam Newton is the most important Carolina Panther to ever lace them up. What he did to this franchise and really put them on the forefront. I mean, he's brought us the most fans. He brought us the most attention. He is our MVP. I mean, it's not debatable as far as a Carolina Panther, and he deserves absolutely no slander from our organization, especially the mentioning of, obviously the fumble in Super Bowl 50. What he did for us and laying his body on the line and just absolutely, being such an attraction with his talent, with his arm, his talent on the ground. I mean, what are we really talking about? If there's one player on here who you can't touch, it is number one, Cam Newton. With well over 3,200 yards through the air in his career and over 190 touchdowns as well in the air, and then adding another 5,600 on the ground with over 75 touchdowns running. We got to give Cam the praise that is just due, man. He is our greatest quarterback. He was our MVP, and there's no debate of his existence on this Mount Rushmore. Now moving on to Captain America, Luke Kuechly.
Ain't nobody know you.
Another person who is not debatable whether he's on this list. I think if there was one person on this list who you can consider changing, it would be Sam Mills for Luke Kuechly. But when you look at the stats, you just cannot do it. What he did in 7 years, it surpassed what Sam Mills did for the organization in his short time frame and his 70-year career with us. I mean, just an absolute monster. Had over 600 tackles, I believe, like 20 interceptions, forced fumbles. He just did it all. And what he brought to that defense, he was the quarterback of the defense. His ability to study and diagnose films, we know that he single-handedly improved the play out of the whole defense through the way that he prepared. And he was our Captain America, man. He was our quarterback that played linebacker. And it was very concrete, that he is the greatest linebacker to play for our team, and it's arguably one of the top five greatest linebackers to ever play ever in the NFL. It's really sad to see Luke Kuechly's career cut short, just the damage and then the stuff that he was taking, especially with those concussions to his body. Only he knows what he's had to deal with, and he had to do what is right for him and his family. And that goes along with Cam Newton, man. If that shoulder was not injured, man, it's just heartening to see these two guys and how far we could have been if they could have extended their career and just maintain a great level of health. Now, another thing I want to point out about this list that is great, but it's kind of sad as well. If we look at it, we have Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly, who made their way to a Super Bowl and just couldn't get it done. And we also have Steve Smith and Julius Peppers, who made their way to a Super Bowl and couldn't get this done. So although this is our Mount Rushmore today, as the top four Panthers ever played, I am very excited to see who takes over in the future. At the end of the day, I don't sugarcoat anything. We want a Super Bowl. We want to be in that conversation, period. I'm tired of being left out and disrespected, by other teams and just being the whole typical Carolina Panthers. This is something that Adam Thielen has came out and said. We're done with that. I'm looking forward to see who steps up, who is looking to take the challenge and enter themselves on this Mount Rushmore. And with these great players' career, the only way you're going to do that is by getting a Super Bowl. And that's it. So I'm looking at J.C. Horn. So I'm looking at Bryce Young. So I'm looking at Chuba Hubbard. Who is going to have the great moments in the next coming years and really take over and get this team in the Super Bowl? Because I'll tell you what, you do that, and I'll be more than glad to start moving names off this mountain. But until then, this is who we have. So without further ado, man, let me know in the comments, do you agree with this list? And if you don't, let me know. Who would you switch out? But I have a feeling that nobody should really disagree. This is not that debatable on who is our greatest players in history. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This is your boy P-Way. And like I always say, no matter what you do, just make sure you do it with love. Peace.